Because of the Goo Deok ring in her hand, the humble servant girl is mistakenly recognized as a young lady. But Goo Deok is not ungrateful. She never dared to forget. Real Ok Tae-young died in the fire to save her. The other day, I asked Tae-young's servant girl about it. I found out that the officials found the fire and rushed there. But everyone there was already dead. She was the only one left alive. There was an officer. Recognized the Goo Deok ring she was wearing. So he notified you. The government still hasn't caught the culprit. But at this moment, Goo Deok can't hide it anymore. She sent her subordinates away. She knelt down in front of the old lady. She confessed to her about her life, and how Ok Tae-young recognized her as her sister, and how she sacrificed her life to save her during the robberies. It turns out at the beginning, Goo Deok assumed Tae-young's identity. She didn't want to enjoy glory and wealth. She wanted to find a chance to tell the old woman the truth. Otherwise, if she escaped, the old lady would have a hard time sleeping and eating. She'll keep searching. She already owes her life to Mrs. Yu. She can't bear Mrs. Yu's debt of gratitude, and she's the only one who knows where the bandits are. Madam, I've invited the officials to see Goo Deok. Describe the terrain. Behind the inn, there's a path often used by herbalists. At the end of the path, there's a cave outside the ancestral hall. That's where the bandits live. The old lady didn't let Goo Deok explain her identity. They made a promise. Before the bandits were arrested, Goo Deok must continue to pretend to be Tae-young. Otherwise, no one will believe her. Then the Yu family will be ruined, so as not to be recognized. She's on the wanted list. Next, she'll have to cover her face with a robe. She'd never known what it was like to be served. Goo Deok was to sleep in the doorway. Whenever there's a problem, he'll do it himself. Old madam only told the truth. She only told her servant Mo Jin, and she told her repeatedly, even if Goo Deok is not a lady. Goo Deok must be treated as a lady. Otherwise, if word gets out to the mother's hall, it's all over. After that, Goo Deok stayed in the side room. She didn't come out. She said she was recovering from her illness. Several servants who wanted to visit Ok Tae-young were stopped at the door. They were stopped at the door. Mo Jin still said the same thing. We mustn't let those people in the Hall of Mercy gossip. There's no mother in the Hall of Mercy. You know that when Yu Pil-sung returned to his hometown, he had to go to Leop Township, and the status of the township is higher than the government. And Yul Pil-sung's son, Yul Chang-young, and daughter Yul Tae-young. They're both talented men and women. But after the robbery, Yul Pil-sung's family went to the west to guard Yul Chang-young's soul. I heard that Mrs. Goo Deok had closed her door to visitors. The ladies of the hall were happy. They even made up the story that the old lady was sick and lying down. A funeral was about to be held, and a false rumor that Mrs. Yu had been attacked by robbers. They sent a letter of condolence to Yu. Bai Yi wanted to ask Miss to make a decision, but her mother, Mujinko, knew this lady is not the same lady. How can a servant girl make any decisions? And the servants can't do the math. They wanted to ask Ms. Yu for help. They didn't listen to Mujin's advice. He insisted that Bai Yi tell Miss Yu. Mujin is furious. Remind Goo Deok. Tell her that she has an eye injury. But unexpectedly, Goo Deok not only knows how to read and write, but also how to embroider. She even wrote a poem to the ladies of the hall. The Tuzin family. Luckily, I'm a human being. It means the butcher is excited by the pig's upbringing, while others are happy for the suffering of others. The ladies of Shimu Hall were humiliated. But so what? They can't write such profound poems in return. The old lady on her deathbed heard of all the deeds of Goo Deok. She was in a better mood. When she looked at Goo Deok smiling like a flower, it was as if she was really looking at her granddaughter. The criminals have all been arrested, even after all the punishments. They refused to confess. They thought no one in the world could confess. But Goo Deok, she looks like a ghost in her white robe. The bandits panicked, but they couldn't deny it. Ms. Ok Tae-young's revenge. Jude finally avenged her. Before she left, she told the bandits, the man they were persecuting, he's the savior of the people. So even if they went to hell, they can't atone for their sins. According to what Yu Tae-young said, Goo Deok gave the gifts she brought from the Qing dynasty. She gave them to her servants and maids. Bai Yi received fine shoes and satin. And for the old lady, aloe vera from Arabia. Her medicine is very strong. She's as strong as the old lady. This was the last thing Goo Deok could do for Mrs. Yu, as promised. When the robbers are arrested, she must leave the Yu residence. But the old lady, she stopped Goo Deok in the middle of the night and left without saying goodbye. The old lady said her name wasn't Goo Deok. She's Ok Tae-young. Since the real Ok Tae-young's last wish is to take Goo Deok in as her sister, then why don't we fulfill it, so that Goo Deok can live as Ok Tae-young from now on? Rumor has it that a new magistrate, Mr. Jin, has been transferred to Cheong County. He's a man of integrity. He has a clean slate. He's going to give Simu Hall these ladies who want to control the government. Will bring trouble to these ladies who want to control the government. But why is this magistrate here? Did someone write a letter under a false name to the high command? Several people immediately thought of the brilliant writer Ok Tae-young. They felt a new sense of hatred. They're making up rumors again. Look at Ok Tae-young. He doesn't go out of his house. She doesn't go out of her house. Maybe she was really assaulted. She even has a scar on her face. It's so ugly. Good news for the girls of Clearwater County. Heavenly gifted storyteller Cheon Seung-hwi will be coming here. He's coming here for a tour. While Bai Yi was happy, Bai's young master, Bai Dogwang, suddenly dragged her to present her with a gift. But Bai Yi quickly threw it out of her mind. When she returned home, she told Mrs. Yu about Cheon Seung-hwi. She looked happily at the new red blood on her feet. It's a token of Ms. Talon's love. She'll cherish it for the rest of her life. Speaking of Seung-hwi, that's the dream of thousands of girls. She doesn't just give speeches. She also dances and performs in a variety of colors. One of her books is a household name. It's about an aristocratic man. He meets a woman selling peanuts at a market. She happens to be the slave girl of the man's fiancé. She gave her a token. It is said that to this day, the nobleman has been searching for the woman. This story is too familiar to be true. Could it be Seung-hwi? It's time for Cheon Seung-hwi's performance. Under Baekhyu's protection, Ok Tae-young came to the show. The mysterious storyteller is sitting on the stage. He gently removed the veil. At that moment, Young saw that it was really Seung-hwi. And what really moved Ok Tae-young? He memorized the conversation between them. He repeated what he said when he was born as Goo Deok Tae-young. Because life is hard. Imagine what will never happen to you. That will never happen to you. That's how you can experience fulfillment in life. That day, Seung-hwi asked Goo Deok what her dream was. She said she wanted to go to the beach and live freely with her father. So Seung-hwi remembers it all. The scenery moved and the drums started to play. Seung-hwi walked down the stairs screaming. He said the slave girl was a ray of light. He said that the slave girl was a light that saved him from deep despair and darkness. And the token was her love. It was his deepest desire. So she looked back. She saw thousands of performances. The lines she had memorized were forgotten in an instant. He could not speak. She couldn't speak. The two of them were the only ones left in the noisy world. She was Goo Deok. He is morning glory. Now she's Ok Tae-young. And he is Cheon Seung-hwi. Ok Tae-young woke up from a dream. He left the scene as if in a dream. Bai Yi, who is accustomed to observing people's moods. She realizes that Ok Tae-young and Seung-hwi are old friends. Bai Yi secretly found Cheon Seung-hwi's house. She confirmed that the token was given by him. Then she asked her servant to report to the police, saying that Bai Yi was running away with her lover. She wanted to see her one last time. A few people are using poor disguises. They watched the progress of the two of them. And they turned around on the bridge. He bumped into that familiar face. They retreated. They embraced each other's disguised identities. But this scene only existed in their fantasies. The identities they met with were all in bad taste. Although Cheon Seung-hwi said he was searching in the coastal area. Occasionally, when he saw a wanted notice posted, he collects them like treasures. Just like what he said in his sketchbook. There is a kind of love, even if you only met once. It's unforgettable. That token buried a deep longing in her heart. Now that longing is standing right in front of her. But what can Goo Deok Tae-young do? Now she is no longer a humble slave girl. She's a servant of the Yu clan's destiny. She's bound by her own destiny. All she needs to know is that she's doing well. That's all she needs to be happy. Don't see each other again. Bakwai is helping Ok Tae-young clean up her mattress, while explaining, seeing Tae-young's face so crimson. I thought Cheon Seung-hwi was really her old flame. Recently, there have been rumors about Tae-young in the town. The rumors about Tae-young in the town are getting worse and worse. Tae-young never left home. He has no friends. Bai's heart was breaking, so she tried to fix up Tae-young and her beloved to run away. But Goo Deok Tae-young held Bakwai's hand. She said she wasn't alone. Bakwai was her friend forever, but no one could have predicted the beginning of this intimate relationship. It was also the beginning of a tragedy. The ladies of Mother of Mercy Church, Mrs. Bai, is celebrating. She was about to go to Hanyang with her son, Bai Dogwang. The servants have also discovered that Bai Dogwang has been sneaking around in front of the Yushi mansion. He's been sneaking around. I don't know what's on his mind. Then one of the servants mentioned something. Why he hasn't seen Bai Yi since this morning. Cheon Seung-hwi didn't give up. He sneaked into Yushi's house. He's obsessed with Ok Tae-young, worried that she'd reveal their identities if she continued to pester him. So he agreed to leave the house with her. Tae-young never loses her ability to climb over walls. She can cross the wall without Cheon Seung-hwi's help. But Cheon Seung-hwi grimaced. It took a lot of effort. With the help of Ok Tae-young, he was able to climb over the wall. Cheon Seung-hwi took Ok Tae-young to the beach. It was just like her dream. An isolated house by the sea. Only the most important person was missing, her father. They sat on a bench for a long time. Tae-young asked about Tae-Seung-hwi's experience. It turned out that she had known she was born a geisha. She left home to become a storyteller, thanks to Goo Deok's counseling at the beginning. But then Cheon Seung-hwi's father came to the door. He slapped him in the face. He said he was a public figure. He said he had dishonored the family. Since then, she changed her name, she hid her face. But he didn't feel aggrieved. Instead, he was happy to be able to write and dance as much as he wanted. To him, this is the real life. Cheon Seung-hwi has traveled all over the country. There's a good chance she'll find Goo Deok's father. She promised to protect Goo Deok. When she's done, she'll take her father and daughter back to the coast. He's been in hiding ever since. The life of his dreams belongs to Goo Deok. And back in the Yu clan's house, she can only be Ok Tae-young. She went to Bae's room amidst the sobs of her subordinates. Mojin sat on the floor. Her eyes were blank, and Bae was not breathing. The servant said they saw her in the forest. Bakyu's body in the forest. She had her favorite red shoes under her feet. The coroner came by. He examined the red marks on Bayu's neck. He concluded that she committed suicide, but there's a clear cut on the back of her head from a blow. Who did it? Could it be Baek Dogwang? Did she love Baek Yi too much to kill her? Ok Tae-young's grief and anger are mixed. She wants to go to the police to report the case, but the servant said this is the life of a servant. It's the same as a dog or a pig. In a trance, Yu's mind wandered back to the days when she was a slave. It's as if she's back to those years when she was a slave. She cried and said Yu was not a dog or a pig, but a human being. Mujin closed the door. He tried his best to stop her. Ok Tae-young's true identity cannot be revealed. If it's revealed, the Yu clan will die. It would be better to leave with Cheon Seung-hwi. That would fulfill Bai Yi's wish that night. Yu Tae-young thought for a long time. She took out the bag she used to run away. She had a lot of thoughts. She finally decided to go as Miss Yu. She went to see Seung-hwi, who was waiting for her. From the moment he saw her, Cheon Seung-hwi knew she wouldn't leave with him. She kept the token safe. Now it's time to return it to its rightful owner. The Yuks have brought in a new examiner to prove it. Bai Yi's death is suspicious. Mo Jin rushed into Bai's house alone. She wants to question Bai Dogwon. What kind of a slave girl is she? Mrs. Bai accused Bai Yi of trying to seduce a nobleman. So she sought a solution. She even ordered Mu Shen to wear grass shoes to teach her a lesson. At that moment, Ok Tae-young appeared in front of everyone in a long robe. She wanted to protect the people she had to protect. The new magistrate received a report from Ok Tae-young. He has surrounded the White House. The inspector has confirmed it. The last coroner's report on Bai Yu's autopsy was a fabrication. And Ok Tae-young has accused the Baek family of persecution. Of persecuting their slave girl Bai Yi. The Baek family has been arrested and investigated.